One of the themes that I think is both ironic and important to focus on in a couple of nuances is the commitment to everyone losing. And so I'll go into this in a couple of details. But in the mission statement of the Human Awareness Institute, it concludes that we, the facilitators saying the mission statement, and by extension the board of directors, are committed to a world where everyone wins. So a couple of things just as context. Stephen Covey, in his work, 7 Habits, said that the reality is that in a given interaction, given the fact that a win is defined differently and sometimes in mutually exclusive terms, that you cannot be committed to everyone winning in a closed system. So in any given interaction, the commitment should be win-win or no deal. And the time to explore and negotiate the boundaries of that is at the beginning. Exit strategies are a very important part of that. And the other clear understanding and point in a protocol of win-win is to understand what the wins are and what the loses are. Now, the last thing that's, I think, worth mentioning is I'm a contractor, and clients come to me all the time in a contract illiterate state. Now, since that's the reality and I'm the professional, my job is to give them a questionnaire. And they don't ask for it, by the way. No client has ever said, "Where's your questionnaire?" But when I was starting the business, I asked clients what they didn't like about other contractors, what their biggest problems were with contractors. And it all came down to 3 things: poor communication, not getting what they wanted, things coming in late and over budget. These are the 3 things. Now, what creates all of those problems? A lack of deep questioning, followed by a lack of design that integrates their answers to those questions. Every single one of those problems, if you have a sincere contractor that wants to help, comes down to that gap. And it turns out that in the contracting industry, I am in the top 1% of people that have a 10-page questionnaire. And in the last few years, I've added to it. First, I just asked lots of logistical questions, but what I've added in recently is a value hierarchy. You see, this is, so people come to me and say, "Hey, Dane, what should I do?" As if I know. It's like, I have no idea what you should do. I don't know who you are. So I give them the questionnaire. They tell me who they are. They tell me what they want. They tell me what they want to spend. They tell me how they want to use the space. They tell me, thanks to my value hierarchy, whether pleasing their partner is 10 out of 10 or saving the environment is 10 out of 10. Or maximizing real estate value. Do you see there's 3 completely different directions to go? Because when their partner pipes up and suggests something that's costly to the environment and is definitely not going to add real estate value, but is going to please that partner, they look to me. So, Dane, what do you think? I don't know. What's your value hierarchy? Are you wanting to improve your marriage? Are you wanting to improve your real estate value? Are you trying to save the planet? Are you trying to, make the neighbors happy because they're pissed off about something and you're going to be planning a remodel? What's important to you? So each part in the couple rates each of these 1 to 10. There's 15 possible values, from security threats, poison risks, all kinds of issues. Adding wildlife, using native plant, there's a whole spectrum of paradigms. You see, and until I know what their answers are, I cannot talk in their language, and I cannot, in any effective way, do more than guess about what they should and should not do. Now, this doesn't stop naive and innocent clients coming to me and saying, Dane, what should I do? It just means that it's my job to figure out who they are and what's important to them in every area before I can use my superior expertise in the industry to guide them and say, well, based on this value and this budget and this time frame and this style, I think you're going to be happy with this. And this has these features, these benefits, these costs, these downsides. But the real question is, what do you think? Because if what you wrote down on the page is correct, you'll probably be very happy with this. But some clients write one thing down on the page, but what they're actually happy with is something different. And this is my time to catch that. Because if they say, oh, I don't like that at all, what I like is this, you see. And then I say, well, you can have it. I'm happy to build it for you. But it isn't consistent with your budget. It isn't consistent with what your partner wants. It isn't consistent with the environment. It's not going to add real estate value. This is simply what you're telling me you want. Now, if the client says, build it anyway, they're not in integrity with their written thing. But because they followed me on that path, we're still on the same team. Because I'm in the business of making them happy, you see. My job is not to build the most ecological design or ruin their marriage or fix their marriage or this or that. My job is to do the thing they would do if they had all my experience and expertise and my coordinating and technical abilities that makes them happy. That's my job. And so that little route there ensures that the client knows how off or on base they are with themselves. They know how integrated they are because I'm asking them to track that all with me. I know who they are. I know they're going to be happy. And then it's still not done because now they think they're going to be happy, right? And so my job is to check in every day. How do you like what we're doing? How do you like what we're doing? I know you said you'd like this. I know it looks pretty much like this photo that you said you liked. But now that it's actually here, how do you like it? You still like it? Like the color you picked? You see how it's, it's a different color, right? When it's 500 square feet rather than a little swatch, right? How do you like it? Because again, my job is, if they still didn't know what they really wanted, my job is to catch them one last time before we do the whole install and give them that last little time to change every single day. Because a change up front is so easy and simple. But getting it all done and then checking in with them, like, what do you think? Oh, I hate it. It's the only way to do it. And that's the job of a professional. It's not the job of an emotionally illiterate American, as a statistic, who just knows that things are not working and who goes to a professional to say, help. The job of that professional is to figure out what the goal is, why the goal is, what isn't working, whether the professional can help or not. I mean, if the client says time is of the essence in my questionnaire, and I say, okay, time is 10 out of 10, when does this need to be done by? Oh, it needs to be done in 6 weeks. Well, thank you so much for telling me, because I cannot help you succeed there. I'm booked out 2 months. I couldn't begin for 2 months. So obviously I couldn't finish it in 6 weeks. I'm very sorry. This has been a good exercise, because before you've spent any money, you know that I'm not the one to help you reach your goal. And you might check here and here and here and here, because I want you to be successful. We can't win, but you can still win. There's a reasonable chance that if you get right on this and call here and here and here, that you might be able to find someone who could get it done by that date. And I want you to win, and that means not hiring me. And so this is the integrity of following through with that win-win. Now, what's in some way inverse about the way that I do my best to interact with my clients about something as mundane as a landscape, and the experience of Peter Sandhill and the entire facilitator body relating to me around these services of healing, shamanic work, psychic work, relationship, etc., etc. Well, the first thing is there's no questionnaire. The second thing is there's no integration with the questionnaire, because there is no questionnaire. The third thing is, like when Peter Sandhill came to my house, he had one question for me. Did I want him to wear a white ceremonial robe, or did I want him to wear another ceremonial robe? That was my big choice of the day. I, of course, doesn't really matter what shirt you wear, but I do have some requests that came from sloppy performance from another recent therapist. And I said that what's really important is that we have good integration of this, number one. Number two, I don't want you to take anything. You're my sane anchor here. And I want to do a session every single day for at least an hour, and maybe longer. And I want to set that up so that we have that to integrate this well. Now, I thought with I've done one, you see, this is the thing. You cannot just push this onto a client. I've never taken a psychedelic before, but I've done my reading. I've tried to be a good customer, a good client, and I've done my reading to try and see, what's the protocol that works, and I've added in a few extra things, and I've negotiated all that, and I'm happy to pay the fees. But of course, I have no idea what's going to happen. And so I want to go slow as a customer, but Peter wants to shove me faster. It's like, why, Peter? You see, this is the first area we get out of sync. I tell Peter, I've taken 1/20th of one mushroom of this particular batch. So I've sampled this batch because they vary in strength by batch. And 1/20th of one mushroom had a noticeable effect, meaning I was doing some emotional work, talking with a lover in an altered state with 1/20th of one mushroom. Now to me, Peter, going 20 times bigger is a huge step, huge, because there's no hurry. Number two, I know I'm suicidal. There's a lot more to lose if you commit suicide than there is, to gain. 3, this is the first time I've done a psychedelic in my life. It's not like there's the end of be all and end all of anything. 4, I've had a dream that suggests to me that the biggest danger, because the dream was of putting my foot, I had a dream, I put my foot in the water to go wading, and as soon as my foot touched the water, a giant tidal wave came in and lifted me up before I could run back from the shore. Lifted me up, and I wake up about to crash on huge rocks. Now, if you know anything about dream work and correlations with emotions, this suggests being sensitive and slow. Makes sense. Again, what's the hurry? So I say, Peter, I want to take one mushroom. Peter, without asking a single question, says, no, I want you to take 3 mushrooms. No, I want to take 1 mushroom. 3 mushrooms. I want to take 1 mushroom. He says, Dane, I want you to leave the mushrooms to me. I'm the shaman here. I'm the one preparing all this stuff. Leave it to me. It's like, Peter, I don't want to do this. And so, of course, immediately we have a tension in values. And I asked Peter, what's the big deal? He says, I want you to get your money's worth. You see, Peter already has an agenda of his own that he's bringing into the session. He wants me to get my money's worth. Well, I've got news for you. If you're in the service business and you arrive to a client with your agenda, I can guarantee it. I arrive at a client's house and I've decided that I am going to maximize their real estate value. I don't get that job because clients, by and large, like and feel when someone wants to help them get what they want with no other agenda other than the best way to help them get what they want based on their values. And if I start arguing with a client who says, oh, I really like this purple paint, and I say, no, you can't do that purple paint. They say, oh, but I like it. But you can't do it. And we start arguing. Even if I get the job, it's a bad feel. I'm not serving that client. I've decided I know best, that I should be maximizing their real estate value. They may be under chemotherapy, know they're going to die in 1 to 2 years, screw the real estate value. What they want is purple paint, but I'm too arrogant to ask them, you see. But I'm not. I do ask them, and I never arrive with an agenda. And when I do, accidentally, every so often, I make a mistake. Every so often, it seems so obvious to me, based on 90% of scenarios, that the client should want this. I think I know what's best for them. I never do. I have to ask. So this is the first rift. And it's one of many that ensure that everyone loses. I want to go to another big jump point. I'm passing over 6 more interactions with Peter that are pretty noticeable like that. You get that if Peter had said, I want to respect and serve and honor you based on the session you want to have, don't take any more than you want. Do you get that this is a completely different reality here? This site isn't existing in that reality, because this is a reality of service, attunement, humility, and professional preparation. Now, it's not a win-win when someone charges you $175 an hour to hurt you. Now, every single time you fight with something in the space or in the client, you fight with it and make it the enemy rather than serve it, respect it, and understand it. You increase the odds of damage by at least 100%. They go up and up and up. So, it's 500% more likely when you're arguing over 5 different issues than if it's a matter of deep honoring. Now, this is also something that Peter applies erratically. Like, he tells me that Linda Sassara, his energy worker, has taught him that when things flow, it means they're on track. He therefore says that our session is a great thing. It's the right thing to be happening. Why? Because it fits in his schedule. This is his, so what flows is good according to his teacher. I met his teacher on a date, and I had some respect for her, though I hadn't worked with her. And so he's saying this is great, it's all lining up with the stars kind of feeling, because it fits into my schedule. But look at the hypocrisy here. If it flows, we're on the right track. Now, it flows in my schedule, so we're on the right track. But you arrive at my house, and I want to take 1 mushroom, you want me to take 3. Now, the moment you go into opposition against me, you're not flowing. This escapes Peter. The danger with these misinterpreted or half-interpreted principles is whether it flows in the schedule or not is not as important as whether it flows with the client's readiness to do the work. Meaning, if you've got a 747 pilot that says, I'm too nervous, I'm not ready to take this plane off, I'm not comfortable in this weather and all that, and you say, go on, do it, you're ready for it, do it. No, I'm really not ready. Do it. No, I'm really not ready. If you push someone into that terrain, just the tension of a lack of respect for what they're saying and where they're at increase the odds of a crash by a significant amount. And it does not build honor and trust in the relationship. So when we jump forward, because this is actually a commitment to lose. So my dream doesn't get honored, my boundary doesn't get honored, my sense of what's right for my body doesn't get honored. You see, but when you dishonor one part of an ecology, so anyone who's part of the high community is part of this ecology. Now, Peter has dishonored the entire community at this point by not telling his wife. because his wife, Sarah Sandhill, knows his limitations and knows his foibles and stuff more than probably anyone else. So she's the one person he doesn't tell that this is a psychedelic session. Now, he didn't tell me that until time into the session. This setup, this means that the person who can give him some breaks isn't there. This means that the next person who can give him some breaks is being pushed at for 5 fucking minutes. You know, you talk about date rape and being pressured for sex. Come on, come on, come on. No, I don't want to do this. Come on, come on, come on. No, I don't want to do this. Come on, come on, come on. No, this is really important you do this. This is not the way to do professional shamanry. This is when the teacher is ready, the student will be harassed into doing what they don't want to do, as opposed to when the student is ready, the teacher will honor and come. Now, if we jump forward, and it's just in the interest of time, because I've gone into this in about 2 hours into the nitty-gritty of this lose-lose-lose paradigm. If we jump forward to Jason Weston, he's heard that a client's life is in danger. He's heard that a fellow facilitator has endangered the life of a high participant. He's heard that a high facilitator has broken his high agreements, has broken the law, has broken the heart of a high participant. So he's heard all of this in 45 minutes, and he's heard that that person needs help. And the question is, what is Jason going to do to ensure win, 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 win? And to understand this for a moment, you can understand what an effective leader might do. I'm so very sorry. I'll be right over. I want to learn all about it. How can we get you safe? What went wrong? What do you need? How can I help? Here's my number. Who else do you feel safe with in the community? Is there any way that we can help? And Dane, I want you to know absolutely that we are with you 100%. 2, this is not your fault. 3, we are going to get you out of this. And 4, we apologize that you have been hurt as a result of trusting us. And 5, we as an organization are going to grow because you had the courage to come forward. Now, the interesting thing with that statement of a leader, someone who is willing to sacrifice, and Simon Sinek's work, Why Leaders Eat Last, Leaders Eat Last, studies from the military, etc., what creates trust, loyalty, and rapport is a statement like that, with no hesitancy, with the clarity of where the commitment of an organization, where the loyalty of an organization, we exist to serve our people. My problem does not exist. My savings don't evaporate, my PTSD doesn't appear, my chronic fatigue, exhaustion, collapse doesn't, deal with loneliness doesn't go up, exponential addiction does not go up, I don't gain 30 pounds, 2 years of hell, I don't have to learn psychotherapy, I don't lose my community, I don't lose my trust with the facilitator body. I start my recovery immediately with real leadership like this. So this is win-win-win. High wins because its reputation is intact. Jason wins because he's living his mission statement rather than just spouting it. The facilitators win because I had zero interest in causing problems for High. Zero interest. I've never been sued, never sued anyone. Zip. It's a huge hassle. This is a win-win-win. High starts learning. Where did we go wrong? Jason takes this same leadership back to High. Okay, we trained Peter. We chose Peter. This is not just Peter's fault. What do we need to study here? How did this go on? What's going on with Sarah and Jason? Peter's marriage. Do they need couples therapy? Why aren't they talking? What's this? We are going to strengthen this marriage. We're going to strengthen the skill of a currently incompetent therapist. We're going to learn about this. We're going to study this. We're going to bring the team in. We're going to have the team learn from our mistakes. We're going to all brainstorm together and see how could High grow out of this? How could we come out of this stronger? How? And that's what we're going to do. And that's not what happened. Jason said, thanks for not going to the police. We're going to have a meeting soon to discuss this. I asked to be held and listened to. I'm left in limbo. I'm not asked what I need. I'm not asked a single other question. Phone goes down. I'm left in limbo. Meanwhile, Peter has escalated things. And Jason comes back with a document for me to sign, and he says this is not a High issue. He says it's not a High issue. We're not going to involve ourselves. We're not going to help you. I'm not going to come over. I'm way too busy out of that. And I'm not going to ask how you're doing. I'm not going to get you any support. I'm not doing nothing. But I'd like you, our client, who's over their head in trauma, grief, and can't drive, I'd like you, our client, to sign a legal contract promising never to sue High and never to tell anyone about this again. I haven't even told anyone yet because you won't listen. Well, you see, this is the lose, lose, lose. I can't think of a crappier, more unprofessional, unkind, unloving way to respond to a client who's trusted you and gotten into heartbreak and trauma because of your incompetence. It's terrible. Hearing this, does anyone hear this and say, wow, that's the organization I'd like to sacrifice for. That's the organization I'd like to donate. I want my 17-year-old daughter going to those folks. Does anyone hear that and say that? No. So High loses. And Jason says, no, this is not a High issue. I said it's a High issue for this. Jason doesn't even address the issues. You can't learn from something if you don't own it. You can't be leaders and occupy a position that is smaller than the average person. Meaning, if I talk over to someone with a bar, and I say, my friend charged me $175 an hour to do this, this, and this, and I'm totally fucked. That person would say, what a crappy friend. This is just a friend. But you're not friends. Not a single one of you has accepted my invitation of friendship. Not a single facilitator has had unpaid interactions with me. Not a single one. I donated some time, some money, but other than that, those were me giving money, not the facilitators. And High's pretending that it's less responsible than Enron, less responsible than Salomon Brothers. The very people that are occupying Wall Street and because of corporate corruption and lies that they want to have it this way on the one hand and this hand the other. Most of their crimes pale in relative scale to saying, oh, we're professional therapists, we want to help you, we want to teach you about love, and then when we fuck you up, it's not our issue. That's not love. So here's the big problem. If Jason succeeds, let's say that he succeeds, wins a court case, whatever, and says this is not a High issue, And everyone knows that it is not a high issue for a high facilitator to break the law, escalate a romantic relationship with someone under psychedelics, break that person's heart, fail to show up and give adequate support, fail to do any preparation and protocol, deny it, shame that person, string them along, block communication, and then when the entire organization is asked for help because they can't drive, because grief is coming up at such an overwhelming level they can't deal with it, that's not going to be a high issue. Is that the person you want to do business with? You see, and if you behave in the way that you wouldn't do business with that person yourself, and you insist on that, and let's say you win, you stall it all off, you shut down all the court cases and all that, and you come away clear, I won, it's not my issue. You don't have any mandate to exist. You see, the organization that is that crappy, that succeeds in believing that level of crappy treatment is okay, is not the organization anyone wants to hire or follow. So you lose either way. There's only one way to win, and that's to come out as a real leader. You can't say, give us money to teach you about love and healthy relationships and good communication and ethics and sustainability and into me you see, but we're not going to read your email, we're not going to follow therapeutic principles, etc. You've failed, you've lost, and taken every single person down with you. You've destroyed a marriage if it's based on that. You've destroyed a community if it's based on that. You've destroyed a leadership structure. The brain doesn't say, oh, they're treating him that way, but they'd never treat me that way. No, that's not how people work. The brain says, oh, they're treating him like shit. When's it going to be me next time? That's how the brain works. So even if they stay in relationship in some degree, the guard goes up. The value of the organization goes down at least 30% when it's an organization that could treat a client like that. So you've lost. You've lost 30% of your entire organization's value. For what purpose? So that you can avoid learning about your mistakes. To what purpose? So that you can feel better about yourselves, which sets you up to do it again. Exactly what Peter did when he did the same mistake in 1993 and then the same mistake later on, and then at a much higher level, the same mistake again. You set yourself up for failure when you don't learn from your mistakes. How can you learn from your mistakes if you pretend they're not yours? Oh, it's my client. If only I had intelligent clients, I would be in great shape. So this is how we have a real commitment to lose, with, of course, a gap in integrity, with a mission statement of not only our participants winning, but the entire world winning. So massive grandiosity on the one hand, zero responsibility, accountability, and ethics on the other. And in between that, you have an insanity of betrayal and shame that most people, when you talk to them about it, will understand. And that is what is destroying High. Not me, not Peter. It's the failure of the organization.